Nowadays, you'd especially be hard-pressed to find anyone shooting videos using tape-based camcorders, professional or otherwise, and there are reasons besides the obvious: it's fucking obsolete. As with any electromechanical appliance, tape mechanisms are subject to mechanical failure, and at the age that they're coming up to nowadays, it's not exactly helping matters either. So for this video, I'll be taking a look at repairing one of the many common failure modes for a Sony MiniDV mechanism. Hello everyone, this is LameGuy64, and oh my god, this brown skin has finally made a new video for the first time in fucking years. And well, assuming my old subscribers haven't just forgotten about me or simply abandoned their accounts, considering the changes of YouTube's policy over the past couple of years, or rather the internet as a whole. But that's besides the point. I'll just ramble on about that towards the end, for the sake of those who've just heard about me and just wanted to say how to actually fix these goddamn tape mechanisms. So with that aside, the tape mechanism I'll be taking a look at is a Z mechanism. This was used in a lot of Sony camcorders from 2003 to 2006. One of the examples being the DCR HC21 Handycam, which my family had growing up. Still have it, but I gutted it for parts, which I used to repair a camcorder I'm going to repair again for this video. All the way up to the early HDV camcorders like the HVR FX1 and the HVR Z1, which is the ENG counterpart, which is what I'll be repairing in this video. I didn't state the model of camcorder I'm going to work on in the title because that's not the focus here. The focus here is the tape mechanism, which means that this video applies to any Sony camcorder that uses the same Z mechanism. If you need disassembly instructions for your particular camcorder, I advise looking up a service manual for it. They're not exactly difficult to find anymore, and it's not exactly, and Sony is not exactly gonna service these obsolete camcorders anymore, are they? So without further ado, let's get right into it before the viewer gets bored by my brown skin or accent. Well, before we proceed further, we do some diagnostics so I can illustrate the problem we have in hand with this thing. Can't really see it, but you can hear it. Hear that? Those clicks when it cued the tape in reverse. And if I look at the LCD, video's messed up. Like really badly messed up. It's DV. But it sounds fine when in reverse. That problem is a spindle table. It's cracked because it's nylon shit. So the only way to repair that is to replace the spindle table. I bet it's the supply spindle table because it knocks out the tape tension, which is critical for reliable recording and playback. So I'll have to get the replacement out of a spare mechanism deck I have. Alright, so here's a spare mechanism. Incidentally, it came out of a Z1 because I got my Z1 and a bunch of parts from a surplus store that received what appears to be a large backlog of shit from a service center. Charmtech Corporation from South Korea, apparently. I don't know if they've just closed down or they just got rid of a large backlog of shit they can't repair or can't be bothered to repair anymore on account that it's end of life. So first thing we do is we have to put the mechanism in the eject position, not as playback position. You have to run the motor in reverse. You have to feed 4.2 volts to the motor. Run it through the eject cycle like that. Okay. And we can proceed with taking it apart. I have the impression I need more than one thing to push that part out.
Actually, I've identified the broken spindle table incorrectly here. It's actually the take-up spindle, not the supply spindle that's failed.
Pardon if I can't really show it, but this part's really... You have to squeeze it and then push it out. Of course, there are two ways to repair a camcorder with a bad mechanism deck. You got the lazy way, which is to just simply replace the whole mechanism deck from a lower end camcorder. Like say, for example, initially my way of repairing the Z1 was to take the mechanism deck out of the old HC21, or it's the stupid HC25 we had. It turns out that repair was no good, because you know how Filipinos store their things. They store it outside. Camcorder bag with the HC25 was kept outside, and even though the mechanism looked okay, it was actually lightly corroded, which was enough to knock the tape tension out so bad it cannot be used to make reliable recordings anymore. So I had to repair the original mechanism deck, which was damaged by an idiot pushing the tape basket in. There we go. So fiddly. What an annoying part. Also, the camcorder I'm using is a Sony DCR-TR V820, which anyone still remembers me in the past. I've used it to record a video or two with, and I also used it as a webcam on one of my live streams. I believe that would be the Wind Waker ones. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do any more live streamings, because now I've been told that people aren't so interested with people who like present themselves, or what I like to call as people of personality. They prefer the VTubers. They don't like seeing people, YouTube channels with human faces. So I doubt anyone will actually watch this video, and as a result, even if it's like very informative. That's just how the internet works now, especially in the era of VTubers galore. So I'm an obsolete, for the lack of a better word. Oh yeah, the problem with the failed spindle table is the only way to find out if the spindle table is any good or not is to actually test the mechanism, like I did earlier. And so if one goes to the flea markets, better bring a charger or a battery if one intends to buy a camcorder that works or could process tapes. If you're gonna get cameras from eBay, that's a tricky one, because sellers are quite often too lazy to test a particular thing out on the thing you want to buy off them. So you'd end up spending maybe $60 for a candy ham, and the mechanism deck also has a broken spindle table. Probably don't want that, because they want the thing out. They want to get rid of the thing out. Get rid of the thing, and not offer refunds if the mechanism deck turned out bad. Yay. I think I might have one spare repair part spindle table, like an official Sony replacement part. I don't know if any aftermarket ones exist. Oh yeah, I did not complete that lazy way out thing, and then the service center way out of repairing these things. This is what I'm doing, the service way out, which is to take it apart and replace the exact part that went bad, which people tend to not want to do because they find this stuff very intimidating. So what we're after here is this spindle table. Actually, you need more than just a battery and a charger. You also need a tape, because you cannot spin the spindle table in the eject position so you could inspect the gears. This is why people don't watch verbose channels like me, where we have personality. Screwing up, like going on tangents and forgetting. I don't know, internet's not really, it's just shit now. Not because of the new privacy policies, but just the community, the culture. It's gone to shit. Like, why do people prefer VTubers rather than faced individuals like me? That's why, in a way, that's well, the AI videos, and then the always ads on non-monetized channels. One of the things that put me off of being in a hurry to make a new video. Can inspect. So this is the, if If you had worked with VHS mechanism, this looks very familiar. It's an M loader, and you also got this tension regulator band. When the take-up supply spindle table breaks, there's now a crack on the lower gear. Let's see if I can take this off. And then when there's a crack, it knocks the tension regulation out, because the surface that the regulator band runs along is no longer smooth. So ends up going to shit. The tension now rides up and down, which knocks out the automatic tracking.
Actually, I've identified the broken spindle table incorrectly here. It's actually the take-up spindle, not the supply spindle that's failed. Also, while it may look like it's possible to take out the supply spindle in the same way as the take-up spindle, that procedure is hindered somewhat because the lower part of the spindle table goes around the tension regulator band. And the only way to free that band is to, well, take apart the mechanism.
Okay. Move the regulator band out of the way. Then we lift and inspect. There. That's a good spindle table there. What happens with the Z1's mech is this gear goes around this metal disc. It's actually two pieces held together by magnets. It'll crack. That's where we're getting the clicks.
That's not the correct spindle table, you dimwit.
Hey, now we can finally attack the HVR Z1. I already know how to take these things apart by heart, because I've taken this thing apart so many times dealing with the tape mechanism, because initially I replaced it with the mechanism out of an HC21 that was actually corroded, and I kept opening it up and adjusting the tape tension. I couldn't get the tension right. Yeah, when you replace a spindle table, you actually need to adjust the correct tape tension, and to do that you need one of these special tapes. This is a torque gauge tape. I'll explain how it works once we get to that point. So first and foremost, we need to take this thing apart. I'll explain a little bit how to do it, but if your camcorder is not a Z1 or an FX1, consult the data sheet and the service manual for your camcorder. Taking apart the camera is not the main focus of this video, it's about the mechanism deck. I'll just show how this goes apart. There we go. I usually use a tray for the keeping track of the screws, but I can get away without one. So with that off, we need to lift this ribbon cable, move this cable. Then there's another part here. There's a screw on the side. We also need to remove its cable. First thing that goes is the handle. Poke this part so you can get the plastic bit out. And then there's another ribbon cable there in a more tricky position. Just use a tweezer to like rock it back and forth. Can't really show it because it's so tricky, but there is a ribbon cable there that I need to disconnect. It's a board to board interconnect thing. I much prefer those over the stupid slide in nonsense ribbon cables, because the problem with those is the tabs break off, or not really break off, but the adhesives fail. Okay, it's disconnected. We can get rid of the handle. But yeah, the scarred TRV-20 lens makes things have a bluish tint. A beginner's trap in lens repair is using alcohol. And cleaning lenses in here is a pain in the ass because it's a dust bowl. This is my city, it's a dust bowl. I did manage to find a guy who can repair, clean up lenses, but for some reason is hesitant with video lenses. Because I have a TR3000, I see some remains of it. That's the brass cooling plate for it. I'm fixing up. It works. I managed to get the tape part to work, but the lens is fogged up. Not only that, the OIS is leaked. I wonder why no one uses that front-mounted OIS system anymore.
And also I forgot you can actually replace the take-up spindle without disassembling the whole mechanism deck. But cut me some slack. It's been a long time since I last worked in these damn things, and my memory is quite fuzzy.
Just a matter of following the screws with an arrow on them. Although sometimes Sony hides screws. Just screws on the bottom. You also need to get this screw out. Yeah, the Z1 is basically an ENG oriented FX1. But it's the Z1 has support for DV cam, and it's got XLR inputs. The FX1 only did DV and HDV. But the Z1 kept the charging connector here. But it's not used as a charging connector for the Z1. Supposedly it doesn't provide enough current. So the Z1 is actually more power hungry than the FX1. One of the complaints I have with the TRV820 is how you can't control the white balance. You just can't. You can't even hold it. So it kind of makes it dubious to me as a this was a flagship camcorder from Sony in the year 2000. But why is it less feature rich than the something like, say, the VX1000, which and even the TR3000 lets you control things like white balance and shutter, like some control rather than no control at all. I think that's all the screws. Should now be able to pop this off. So there might be one more screw. Oh yeah, that one. What's funny is how when I encountered media guys with like stupid SLRs on mirrorless cams on gimbals, they told me, see, the videography scene considers CCD camcorders obsolete. Meanwhile, when I was waddling around in Davao City trying to find that lens repair shop, there was a guy with a Panasonic DVC Pro HD camcorder. If you know me, I call things a Pro Noob, so it's a DVC Noob HD thing using Panasonic P2 cards. Talked with the guy that they still use 3CCD HD camcorders. And I can see why. They're still useful. Besides, most people watch their content on very, very small displays. Are they gonna notice the difference between 4K and 1080p recordings when they show it on the phone? And with TV, most people still view TV in standard definition. So that's why I have the saying, what's the point shooting in HD for a TV station here when most people are only gonna see it in standard definition? So yeah, here's the mechanism deck. We can now start working here. We don't have to remove it. And it's a pain in the ass to remove anyway because there's like 2 ribbon cables underneath. Right, we're now in position to deal with this stupid Z-Mech. So, just like the previous one that we got it apart from, we also have to run the mechanism through its paces. You might be able to see the fault in question. That is wrong. This way. This is the original mech of this camcorder, and its problem was it was a loading arm, very thin one. Not the loading arm. but there was a part here, underneath here, that was bent because the idiot who broke this camcorder tried forcing the drawer in, and it mangled the part that lay here underneath the basket. So all knowledge on the internet will all be behind paywalls. Everything is all about making money. We already see that with datasheets now. They have to like seriously mangle datasheets now for some reason. And I still have the gall to like pay for it. Because that's what information delivery is all about nowadays. Or at least in my twisted mind, I see no point. Shit, that's where things are going, and no one, the significant majority of the population doesn't seem to complain because they just want their stupid TikTok bullshit or AI nonsense. Alright, why don't I go over one of the other faults that tend to develop on this mechanism. The other fault has to do with the pinch roller. I think this one had it too, but I fixed it. The pinch roller, there's a little plastic dowel here that's supposed to hold it in, but I've repaired it. The plastic peg thing holds this in, will crack, and then the pinch roller would start working its way up. Let's see if we can locate the crack. I think, yeah, the part that was broken was this on the original one. This assembly here that held the nylon parts. Probably best get that out. This might fly and disappear. What the hell? It's still okay. Where's that clicking sound coming from?
See? I told you so, brown dumbass.
Well, turns out it's actually the take-up spindle that's failed in this. And very subtle, the crack. Crack is very thin there. There's a crack on that spot there. So that's where the clicking is coming from. I thought it's the take-up spindle, supply spindle that was bad. Okay, pilfered a... Oof. Damn, the tape is very shitty. Never mind. I have a hard disk recorder as a backup. Yeah, I guess that tape stock's not useful anymore. I just noticed camcorders complaining about cleaning cassette. I'll explain a number of things. Alright, well, I guess the tape recording is shot. But I have a hard disk recorder that's still going. So I got a new take-up spindle table. So my torque gauge is not messed up by a rogue machine that was eating tape. It probably ruined the springs. The gauge readings might not be correct anymore. But yeah, the way how tension adjustment worked here was you would stick a screwdriver with a nylon gear at the end. It would slot into this hole, and then the plastic bit, you even see it. Oh, it can't be seen. Stupid angle, that's why. Because I cannot put the camera on top, because I'm trash. There we go, stupid. Just about. Yeah, there's plastic bit here. There's some gear teeth here on this end of the tension band. How it worked is you'd have a special screwdriver. It would slot in there, and then it would twist the. It would adjust the angle of that. So how you'd adjust it? You put the special screwdriver in that has, on the end, tip is basically just a little nylon gear. You loosen it, loosen the screw, and you twist the special screw around to adjust the tension regulator, tension band. Then you test with the special tape I showed earlier until the tension is within spec of the service manual. Can't remember the value, so I'll have to look up the service manual. Of course I have a downloaded copy of it, because information on the internet's not permanent.
Yet another case of misremembering things. This adjustment is to align the tension regulator arm to the correct position, which must be placed 1 mm away from the mode motor in the playback position.
I guess it's a bit of a... What the fuck's that noise? Okay, apparently the tape mechanism on this Digi8 had gone wonky, but I think it's more the tape has gone to shit. Or it reached the end but didn't reach the end. Yeah, it looks more like I ran out of tape. And it didn't detect the tape end correctly. Oh well. Yeah, I don't have that special tool for adjusting the regulator band, but that's okay. You can get away with just using tweezers. It's more fiddly, but it's better. It's better than nothing. Nothing I do is getting any more fun or any more. Instead, I'm getting the reverse problem of it's pissing me off now. Okay. It's actually the least annoying mechanism, one of the least annoying Sony mechanism decks to service. The NMech takes the cake because it basically renders itself unrepairable due to a ribbon cable that gets kinked every time the mechanism ejects. Kink it enough, eject it enough times, it will break the ribbon. Okay. It's a ribbon cable that connects the Hall effect sensors of the spindle table and also the cassette memory contacts to the rest of the mechanism. It's just one solid ribbon cable, piece of polyamide that is that's bonded to the base of the mechanism deck and the basket. And then because there's not enough slack on that ribbon cable, what happens is it just ends up kinking and eventually it snaps. Amazing. Okay, I think we can now test the mechanism. Can control power still, but we can't control the tape transport. So I'll get another tool. Oh, it went into demo mode. Well, that's very annoying. This camcorder apparently goes to demo if it's not recording with a tape. It's a bit annoying. Yeah, you need one of these. This is a new length jig. In the past, you would use an RM95 remote. It's a service remote. What's special about this is it allows you to play around with registers in the camcorder for servicing, but you also have standard tape controls on this. So I should be able to... Oh, wait a sec, there's an issue. Tape eject sensor, tape eject switch is on here. It's gonna be a bit tricky. I have to have the side cover connected so I can control the eject, because I need the side cover wired up so I can control the eject. But I need the lamp jig to control the tape transport, since we don't have the handle on and we can't use an infrared remote because it's on, the sensor is on the handle. Thread. It's beautiful. And let's see, where's the test tape? And the tension regulator arm is over there. Let's see if I can zoom it in. Just about see it. Okay, let's set this to VCR mode. What position would that be? Okay. Set it VCR. Stop. Says on the line jig. This is a single line display. Stop. Let's play. There's no more clicking. Fast forward. Might be curls forming here. It's hard to see it like this. We're after the tape tension. Just stop. And then eject. I'm gonna get my laptop out and read the service manual so I know what's the correct tension, because I can't remember. 0.49 or 0.83. Let's see. What's the value I get out of this? I'll show how to do this.
Whoops, there goes the tape. Must be the handiwork of the Rogue VCR I worked on before.
Oh, it ate tape spillage. These gauges are a bit annoying because you have to follow the...
Oh shit, this looks a lot like those stupid back of a mannequin angles in those shitty adverts.
5 and 6, 7. It's 0.7 on the other side. On the T side, yeah, it's on point. It's 0.7. It's within the range. And I just reduce it to 0.6. And the distance there should be 1 millimeter. So as I don't have the correct tool, I can get away with using tweezers. Release this, then just push the teeth up. Actually, a flat screwdriver might work better. What people tend to miss is adjusting this correctly. Let's double check the tension. 6. It's around the 6.6 mark. I cannot initiate reverse which the service manual tells you to also check, because the new Lank jig doesn't have a reverse playback button, but the older RM95 does. Yeah, it's just over 0.6, so it's within spec. Let me double check on the service manual too if you need to do switch point adjustment with the Lank jig, which requires a special tape with the for switching calibration. Maybe not. There is a back tension adjustment. 0.34, 0.44. There's a spring you have to relocate. And this one here, that's where you adjust the forward back tension. It's a 3. Yep, my head's gonna block the path, of course. I shall decapitate myself. Great, the spring had come off. I need tweezers that are not shit. I'll borrow my dad's. Okay, got some angled ones with finer tips. Make the job a little easier. There. Raise the spring stay by 1 step. Okay, it's increased to 4. So it's just on the money. Yep, that should be perfect. Although I suppose you could just guess the correct tension just by how reliable the playback becomes. But if you're gonna take camcorder DV servicing seriously, you'd want one of these, and I believe these would work fine. This would be useful if you're dealing with other camcorder makers like JVC, Canon, Panasonic. I bet they have an equivalent of the exact same thing too. I guess that's done. I'm so sick and tired of this piece of shit. And I'm also very hungry too, which that doesn't help my temper at all. Okay, let's see if we play back some random tape I have.
I skipped a whole load of faffing about with a cleaning cassette and a tape that turned out to be badly recorded. It would have been on the Canon XL1 when it had dirty heads at the time, when a piece of shit borrowed it from me for a while.
Let me just go switch to this. Problem with...
I'm doing these cleaning passes repeatedly, which is not recommended, because I've had the torque tape clog heads really badly and have to do several passes to clean the heads.
HDV is it's more sensitive to dropouts.
And because it's loaded with that really shitty Sony tape that loves to shed crap.
Okay. Seems to work pretty swimmingly now, so I can finally eat my lunch. Maybe it might need one more cleaning pass to make sure there was a dropout. It's a video I recorded when I was assembling a project I was doing while I was on a hiatus. Yeah, the heads are still a bit on the cloggy side.
Sony tapes develop a shedding problem when they get old, whether they're used or not, and these tapes can clog up the heads pretty fast, which complicates transfer jobs. For some reason, it's Sony tapes that have this problem, even back in the 8mm days, while all the other vendors like JVC, TDK, Maxell or Panasonic, actually Panasonic tapes are basically Maxell ones, do not have this problem. Avoid Sony tapes at all costs, with a few exceptions like those white HDV tapes and the large DV tapes marked for DV cam use.
Also, when you replace the whole mechanism deck with a lazy way out, you actually need to perform some adjustments. You need to do the capstan FG adjustment, the switching adjustment, and then the spindle table MR adjustment to get the best performance. Most people seem to get away with not doing those adjustments at all. Watch it for a few minutes. There's actually dropout on the tape. It's a fairly old recording. What's the date on this? Jeez, it's already like over a year old now. And this tape dropouts, not from the... When you shoot HDV, recommendation from 12 volt vids, you still always use new tape, because the DV system does not have a race head. It just tries to overwrite the existing signal. Okay, here's this fixed. I'm so tired now. So there you have it. That's how you properly service a Sony Z mechanism, like how a authorized service center would have done if they still entertained these old things. But unfortunately for all of us, I doubt there are any authorized service centers left that would even entertain any MiniDV camcorder nowadays. So it's all left to us with fixing them. And I'm using that very camcorder I showed getting repaired to shoot this part of the video to confirm that the tape mechanism is working smoothly. And after reviewing a number of outtakes with the actual tape mechanism, it's assured reliable. So this part would have been transferred from tape. I don't even have a hard disk recorder hooked up because I'm that confident the mechanism works that well now. Even in standard definition, you can tell how much of an improvement the picture quality is compared to that digital 8 camcorder. Well, digital 8s were never really high-end camcorders to begin with. They're sort of a digital upgrade for existing high 8 users. Because of course you can't let digital 8 step on the toes of the shiny new MiniDV camcorders. If there are any long-time viewers left that still somehow followed me to notice this video getting released, would recall that I went from an AVC HD point-and-shoot camera, solid state, down to a mid-90s Sony VX1000 MiniDV camcorder, and now I'm on an HDV camcorder. Of course, this camcorder came from Surplus that happened to receive a lot of AV gear that apparently came from a service center, Charmtech Corporation. Lots and lots of AV gears in various states of broken, and this Z1 is one of those least broken things, amusingly. It's only the tape mech that was broken, so yeah, he's just maybe $50 HDV camcorder, yay. Good luck trying to find anything of that price on eBay, whether it has a broken tape mech or not. Anyone may have noticed that I've left the PS1 scene, and quite frankly I've just gotten bored with homebrew in general, and then most of my time is invested on work nowadays. I don't really have much time to make shit anymore as much as I used to, and I don't have the energy either, and I can't really gain much out of homebrew dev anymore, considering the big channels still only cover the high profile ones, but never covered mine. Not even a little mention of my SDK. I did get criticized that I don't seem to like acknowledge people actually using my shit. But then that's what the people in this part of the world tend to like doing, is complain, bitch, moan, whine, complain. Especially when you've been working nearly 10 years with barely any change in your life, still earning pennies and can't really find any other occupation because they're just as bad, if not worse. Just I can't be bothered anymore. And also the takedown of my tutorial pages is because I was hoping someone else would have written a better one by then. But seemingly this seems to be not the case, because some sneaky bastards decided to archive my unfinished tutorials. I just got frustrated with that because I kept rewriting the first couple of chapters, trying to perfect the goddamn thing, and I never got around to writing a GTE tutorial. But I just can't be bothered. I mean, anymore. I've even tried making other things while I was away. I tried to make an MPU 401 clone with intelligent mode, and I didn't finish it due to factors like Sierra's games actually apparently don't use the full intelligent capabilities, and also my Roland CM64 is a piece of crap because most games don't work properly with it. So can't play MT32 game, most of the Sierra library that supports the MT32 as a result, because instruments don't get set properly, and other weird quirks because the game is written for a revision A or revision 0 MT32. It won't work on the newer modules. Hooray! So yeah, that's quite discouraging, really. I might do that was actually a candidate video I was gonna do. I was at MPU 401, but I thought it was really boring, and then it is a little more involved to edit, and I wanted something easy to put together, so repair video it is then. It's not gonna be, my channel's not gonna turn into a repair channel. Maybe I'll do an odd repair here and there. So yeah, I just can't, grown tired, bored of the PS1 scene, and that's rather funny because I used to make fun of sorts who change and then decide to leave a community and never be heard again, because, well, you gotta abide by the stupid right to be forgotten laws with the modern internet nowadays. Concept I find personally stupid. So even if it's like impeding to for everyone else, like if they wrote like wiki pages, for example, and decided to leave, and then they have to delete their pages, and loss of information. Yay, for the sake of privacy. So I might make a few more PS1 related things that I cannot promise I would when I'm gonna do that. But I might do something about writing a debug monitor and also programming for the GTE geometry transfer engine, not geometry transformation engine. That's the anti-social way of calling it from my experience. And also my loss of website, because apparently my domain registrar, or rather the domain I lost, I can actually self-host shit from a dual P4 Xeon server. Apparently my domain registrar just died, and I wasn't anticipating that the expiry would come in February. Apparently it came sooner than expected, and I didn't get any warnings. The registrar stopped sending any notifications via email entirely. And I get the funny feeling, even if I was aware that it was going to expire sooner, so it was going to expire sooner, and I have a funny feeling the payment system would have not worked ultimately. So I had problems with the payment system on that registrar for a long while. So but then I've had it with trying to put up my own website. I mean, the internet's ultimately gonna kill off self-hosted sites and websites that aren't on HTTPS one day. And even if I still if I still had my domain, I would have started implementing measures to prevent search engine hits on my site for no particular reason other than to, well, rage pants. Main reason I just stopped making videos was a bunch of shit happening, most notably with the changes of YouTube and internet culture as a whole. Less and less people want to watch videos like this where the content creator, I suppose, who runs the channel, would present themselves in front of a camera like this. No one wants to watch that shit. People prefer to watch VTuber or AI generated slop or text to speech video bullshit nonsense. People would sooner watch that. People don't want to see actual people. They want to see no-name randos and whatever else. This man, this woman, this blah 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 blah. That shit pisses me off in public. That when I keep overhearing it when I keep overhearing it, and then I just start, shut that up when I had enough for the day. I'm such a level-headed guy, aren't I? That's qualities for an individual you should look up to, right? Well, nonsense aside, yeah, and like this, nonsense aside, I've decided to just resume making videos, but I'm gonna steer away from homebrew dev. I'm gonna focus on shit no one really talks about very much. Notably old computers. Apparently the old computer scene, I don't use the R word, by the way, and it's not retard. It's a word that everyone keeps throwing around when it comes to old shit. I avoid using that word. It's too much I don't use buzzwords here, unless I'm like joking around. But yeah, well, some people think the old computer scene is dying and everyone's flocking to microcomputers. Others say it hasn't changed much. Microcomputers are always more popular than IBM PC compatibles. I don't know, but I might lean more on that stuff because I managed for future videos, because I managed to accumulate a ton of shit to present. So another reason I also haven't made videos in a while is that I simply ran out of shit to talk about. Now I got lots of shit to talk about, so anyone remotely interested, suppose can stay tuned if I ever get around to making those videos. So yeah, I want to keep this conclusion short because it's a common problem I've had in the past where I tend to do these rambles far too long. I remember doing one where it was like up to 30 minutes long. I'm actually shooting this right before New Year's, because in hopes that I'll just release it maybe after New Year's. So I'll be back in the scene, but with no fanfare, because I doubt anyone's still watching this bloody channel nowadays. Or I could count them with just one hand, any active viewers left, if any still remain. Given from experience, people tend to forget things on the internet very, very quickly. So, oh, I should not forget. What about I just start monetizing my videos? Yeah, I'll just resign out of my current occupation and then spend full time on YouTube and then wonder why I end up bankrupt. Quite frankly, my viewer base is too small. I doubt it'll ever grow anywhere beyond this without assistance from external means. So I don't think it would help me financially or whatever. It's too small. And I also don't want to lose the privilege of swearing and doing stupid shit in videos. Or no, stupid gags rather. That might be offensive or something somehow. Apparently, I suppose people can't take a joke nowadays. So yeah, I guess that's basically it for this conclusion. So LameGuy64 signing off, and have a good one. Hopefully we should get a video about faffing around with battery rebuilding, or maybe a 90s computer, or maybe a really obscure camcorder. Who knows? We'll see what comes along.